Jeremy Haynes. If you're in info, you know exactly who that is. If you don't, he's a marketer who has blown up recently and has scaled a lot of info businesses to 7- and 8-figure run rates. He produces a lot of content online about ads, and his scaling strategies are almost exclusively through Meta and Instagram. His agency and training programs are a poorly kept secret among the top info marketers. They all use this strategy to reliably book hundreds, if not thousands of sales calls month after month. And after analyzing dozens of his trainings and breakdowns, I noticed a clear pattern for how he consistently uses Facebook ads to generate millions in profit, even after all of Meta's updates. He's got so many famous strategies, his deforestation strategy, his hammer them strategy. The problem is that his tactics are scattered across hundreds of hours of content. They're behind paywalls, whether it's in his community or his masterminds. And to save you the time, I spent hours going through all of Jeremy Haynes' best advice that I could find on Facebook ads. And in this video, I'm gonna break it all down for you so you can learn it and apply it to scale your Meta ads just as quick.
And so here's the number one thing that you have to remember in this post-Andromeda world, and that's the fact that everything's more sensitive now than it's ever been before. Sensitive in the sense that literally one word, or sometimes a handful of words, can wildly influence who you're probable to reach.
Yeah, so what he said here is so true. Right now, when we're scripting up ads, we literally go through every single word and scrutinize it and think that, okay, could this have connotations elsewhere? Is this going to mess up our targeting? Is it going to force the algorithm to look somewhere else that we don't want them to look? And then we also think about what are the words that we can use in order that have connotations with our target audience, so that when we script the ads and then when we say the ads, we've got the highest likelihood of the Meta algo finding these pocket audiences and just putting the ads directly in front of them.
Pocket audiences, some of them are large and some of them are small. I compared it at this most recent mastermind that we just did to like little pockets of oil. I said, you know, if you bought like a piece of land, like let's say it's just, 20-ish thousand acres, and you wanted to drill for oil, and you're naturally like 30, 40 years ago when that was in its heyday, you're gonna build these little wells up here and you're gonna dig deep into the ground until you hit a little pocket. And then naturally, the amount of oil that's within this specific pocket dictates how productive this specific well is. And as you can imagine, there's wells that they build that, they don't hit any pocket, maybe because they didn't drill deep enough, or because those pockets were rather shallow. And so even if you hit the right pocket and you use the right terms to influence who you're probable to be getting in front of, sometimes even when you're speaking to the perfect person, there's only so many of that perfect person that's actually probable to be in that little audience in that given moment.
So this is a great analogy, and what it represents is that it's the business owner that just always struggles to expand their ads outside of a certain audience. So when you launch your ads, you might spend 100K, 200K, you get some really good results, and that's because you're exhausting the pocket of audience that is at the bottom of the well, or like at the bottom of the funnel, I'd say. And then in order to then expand into that new audience and also convert those people, you need to change your messaging, you need to change the angling, and then you need to find a new pocket of people that is bigger and wider, so that you can continue to convert those people in as well.
The simple retrieval and ranking algo steps, but now it's better than it's ever been historically. And as a result of that, those little pockets are being exploited more than ever before. Here's the downside though, and if you've run ads, you know exactly what I'm talking about right now. You need to load up about, we find the pocket to be 25 to 30 unique creatives in an ad set. And so let's use the example, you're doing video ads. We'd film 25 to 30 totally unique creatives, no shared bodies and CTAs, everything's unique through and through. And all those different reasons, all those total unique creatives, 1 to 3 are gonna get all the reach. So as a result of only 1 to 3 total creatives getting all that reach and distribution, the other, let's say you launch with 25, right? The other 24 to maybe 22, they're gonna get barely any money spent. Sometimes without exaggeration, pennies. Now that doesn't negate the fact that we still have to launch with 25 to 30 total creatives to get the impact and the positive benefits of what Andromeda can truly provide.
Yeah, so this is bang on. It's actually like not what most business owners want to hear, because now on top of everything that people are doing with spinning all the plates that they're doing and wearing all the hats that they now have to think about, okay, there's gonna have to be this resource burden to where I'm gonna have to create 25, 30 creatives, maybe weekly, maybe even every few days, that are unique enough, no shared bodies or CTAs, just so that I can test them and only for 1 or 3 of them to actually get any reach. The way that we handle this is that we have a creative flywheel process and SOPs around how to get the most efficiency out of 1 hour of filming or 90 minutes of filming. And we do a lot of prep for it for our clients. So they really don't feel the burden of having to do this, and we can share that with them. But yeah, like this is what Andromeda is about, and this is the way that things are going now. So let's keep going.
Messaging is literally everything. It does all the targeting nowadays. Meta is a broad targeting platform now, meaning yes, your targeting is there, but it's counted as suggestive nowadays. Okay, and so what that means is messaging controls everything.
This is the truth. Messaging is everything now. It's the one takeaway that like people that are going into ads now should really start to understand. This is the exact reason why our agency's deep onboarding is like so deep, and we go through such a long process in order to understand the ICP and do workshops with founders in order to dive deeper into that ICP and review every single sales call. It's just a non-negotiable step in order to craft the best messaging that I can and to actually resonate with that audience better than anybody else.
The hammer them strategy. So we'll take people who do something like book a call, and prior to the call, we'll distribute both short form and long form content in front of that individual. And it's a small pocket audience. Depending on the scale that you operate at, you might have to supplement it and make it a little larger. But people who operate at scale, like they'll typically see, as an example, let's say you get 150 calls every 72 hours, right? And your average call time from the time they book to the time the call happens is that 3-day window, that 72-hour window. We'll take as much long form content as we can, ideally about a dozen to 24 different videos. And we'll also take a bunch of short form content, ideally like 30 to 50 videos minimum. And we put what's called a frequency target on these specific people in that window. So for short form, as an example, we typically try to see a frequency of anywhere from about 15 to 20. We want an ideal amount of content to reach these people in that tight time frame.
This is like classic vintage Jeremy Haynes, right? Everybody talks about the hammer them strategy. And it's not only just done with the ads that he does, these frequency ads, it's also done with emails. The actual setup of this is really interesting. When somebody takes the action where they book a call, that already shows such a high level of intent. The reason why they're booking a call is because they have questions, and they need to have those questions answered before they feel like confident enough to purchase or buy your products or service. What you can do is that if you're somebody that runs direct response campaigns to cold traffic and to sales call funnels, that so many people are coming on with skepticism and lack of trust. We're living in the trust recession right now. So of course that they're gonna be skeptical. When you implement hammer them with emails and ads with these high level frequencies, the long form and the short form, what you're doing is you are allowing trust to be built during the time window where they need the trust to be built the most in order to actually get them to take the action that you want. So psychologically, it's super duper powerful. And it's vintage Jeremy Haynes.
We took an hour and 55-minute podcast, posted it directly to Facebook, distributed it towards people who don't know us. Watching a full hour and 55-minute video, 100% video viewer that was retargetable. You could also retarget 95% video viewers. It was costing $1.55 to get somebody to watch that full hour and 55 minutes.
This might come as a surprise to a lot of you guys, but you can use your long form content in ads as well. I mean, I've run ads that were direct response ads where I ran the VSL as an ad that was a 15-20 minute VSL. Crazy. And I've seen case study videos that are like 40 minutes long be ran as ads as well. And what Jeremy's saying here is true as well. Think about an hour 55. If I could pay you $2 to watch an hour and 55 minutes worth of my content online, how primed and how much do you think that they're going to trust me, and how primed do you think they're going to be to buy from me as well? So to get that for sub $2, that is profitable all day long. It works really, really well in regards to lead qualification as well. If somebody has watched that much of your content, then you know that that lead is going to be so much more qualified than anybody else. And I think that what this clip really shows is that it allows you to start thinking about creative testing a little bit differently, and that you aren't bound to the normal societal rules, I guess, of what an ad should be. You can literally run so many different things as ads, and I hope that this opens you up to understanding that.
What does it take to hit $1 million months?
Yeah, I like to say it takes 3 things. So number one, it obviously all starts with a great offer. We've seen time and time again, every key statistic that actually matters. I'll give you a great example. Cost per call, cost per webinar registrant, cost per purchase if you're running a low ticket to high ticket offer. The subsequent statistics like show rates, close rates, second call booking rates if you're running 2 call closes, Every single individual statistic is influenced by the offer more so than anything else.
This is like spot on, right? Like the offer carries everything. If you've got an amazing offer but terrible marketing, like you will go so much further than if you've got amazing marketing and a terrible offer. There's no amount of advertising genius that can fix a weak offer. To understand and diagnose whether your offer is the issue, you need to look and gather data on how your market reacts to it. Like if when people hear your offer, they think, oh my God, like this is exactly what I've been looking for, like this is amazing, and they have that kind of reaction, your offer's probably good. If you've got great take rates on it, if you've got great close rates, if all of your metrics look really positive, where your offer is the front loader, then you can be confident that your offer is good. And if all of your metrics look bad, then that's like at a point where I determine that, okay, is this offer something that the market actually wants? So speak to people, say which offer would resonate the most with you, which offer would you be most willing to buy? You can get that primary data. If you're actively established and running it, in order to test that is to just understand and see what the current data that you have on your funnel is, and if it seems that your offer is resonating or not.
What we try to do with content ad strategies, whether it's content first ad strategies where we lead with content, or strategies like the hammer them strategy where it's more of a, they took a key action via direct response and now we're trying to hammer the f out of them. We are leveraging content, just like podcasts as an example, to consistently get people to show up with higher buying intent, okay? And we are replicating the organic sales cycle, but in a substantially shorter duration of time.
This really shows the mindset shifts that great advertisers are having in how they actually view the sales cycle. So like what he's saying here around content ad strategies is that he is running content inside of his ad campaigns in order to get the same benefit that the organic content has, but in much shorter life cycles. Like how long does it take for your content to nurture people, you know? It could take weeks, months. And what he's saying here is really about like how to leverage that content is to replicate basically the organic sales cycle in a substantially shorter duration of time. The big thing to remember about this is that how now all of these things play into each other, and to not look at specific campaign KPIs and look at your overall funnel KPIs in order to actually get an understanding of what is working and what's not. You want to start thinking about your campaign structure in a way which encompasses the entire top of a funnel with all of the different content ads and everything that you can do, and goes all the way down through the different stages of KPIs to your bottom line revenue. This 3D model of thinking about the way that you're going to structure your advertising campaigns is what really separates the people that are getting the insane results and the people that aren't, which is why, like he talks about, hitting these $1 million months.
Everything should be focused on two things, okay? And it depends which specific value proposition your organization offers. Sometimes it's both, sometimes it's just one or the other. Everything is focused on the outcomes or outcome, once again, depending on your organization, of turning money into more money, okay? So getting richer, or saving time.
This is the ultimate litmus test for any ad creative, any headline or value proposition. If you can think about, okay, putting myself in the prospect's mind, how does this earn me more money or how does this save me more time when you're selling like anything biz op related or anything like to this kind of audience, then that's ultimately going to be how you can see whether your headlines are strong, your ads are strong, whether your value proposition is strong. And if you don't feel like it conveys that message in the right way, then you know that you can redo it. Those are the two fundamental things when it comes to the communication. So use that as your litmus test to determine how strong your marketing messaging actually is.
Just to be clear, I'm focused around the selling to rich people part of it. So to be clear, and just to reiterate and summarize, be direct. Every single thing with these people, optimize around saving them time. Saving time is the number one variable that they care about.
When it comes to this, how do you actually communicate that? What does it actually look like? Or what is the difference between a headline that sounds like it saves time and a headline that doesn't actually convey that it saves time well? This could be something like claim the hours back that you spend replying to emails by using our email software. I mean, like a lot of people would think that that does say it, but it's just too vague. It doesn't tell you how much. It doesn't tell you like really like what it is that it's doing, and it's just pretty vague. Instead, I'd have something like 1,000 plus 8-figure founders saved over 50 hours a week by implementing this one secret tool to manage their inbox. That second headline combines a lot of things, but it's super actionable and really conveys that how much time would be saved off the back of something like that. And I feel like conveys the value proposition really well.
These funds that we work with, or these institutions, like, they're used to talking to wealthy people, they're used to talking to rich people, but they're used to talking to them via referral in most instances when we start working with them. So when we start running paid advertising, these leads aren't cold, they're curious. So their interest level's lower than what an interest level would be of somebody who was referred to that business in comparison. So what does the rich person prefer who comes from a lead form on Facebook or from a call funnel? They prefer written communication first that defaults to saving them time to vet out the opportunity.
When you're running your ads, you want to have some empathy and understand what conversion mechanism that you used and how your prospects are going to feel and what they're going to need after using that conversion mechanism. So when a lead comes from a paid ads through a lead form or through a book call, they ultimately are doing that because there's something that you've said that's intrigued them. They're curious, they want to learn more, you know what I mean? Whereas like if somebody is referred to you, then they're interested. This really changes the goal of the top of funnel ad, which is like when I'm talking about expanding into those different audience pockets, if you're trying to build the curiosity and just get people to be intrigued, then you're gonna have a really different ad than if you're retargeting people that have already booked a call or that have consumed X amount of your content where you can drive a direct sale using like a bottom of funnel offer. And this is why the follow-up system, like a texting strategy that he refers to at another point in this video, or the hammered him strategy, is so vital for paid traffic, because what you're doing is that when you capture that curiosity in the front end and then you retarget them with this information and you give them the information that they were curious about so that they can make an informed decision, that's when you build the trust, you separate yourselves from everybody else, and then when you finally present them an offer that is irresistible, then that's when you're really gonna get that huge delta and start really pushing these people from top of funnel awareness all the way through, having all the touch points that you need, nurturing them correctly, and getting just crazy amounts of sales. Jeremy is one of the best in the game, and we just learned some absolutely timeless principles that you need to be using in your advertising. But the issue is that we actually didn't dive that deep into any of the technicals on Facebook ads. So if you want to build your own Facebook ad system, you can click this video and I'll show you the exact strategy that I'm using with my 7- and 8-figure clients in order to profitably scale their ads to the moon. And I'll see you on the next one.